Hey guys, here's part 2 of Notes 17. We'll call it Notes 18. So by now, you should have been able to understand and discuss in behavior and why the limit notations are the way that they are. You then should be able to figure out what the degree is, if it's odd or even, and if the leading coefficient is positive or negative, based on how the graph is pointing, okay? The y-intercepts, the roots, the multiplicities, where that graph is going in terms of direction, increase, decrease, or decrease, increase, or whatever it is. Every problem is going to be a little bit different, okay? Your local extremas, if it's bounded or unbounded, or bounded below, bounded above. The domain and the range. Remember, the range is just how high and how low the graph goes. Now, all polynomial functions will have a domain of all real numbers because there are no square roots in fractions. But not all polynomial functions will have all real numbers for range because some polynomial functions do not go all the way up or they do not go all the way down, okay? One last thing you want to include in your video is verification of your sign chart, okay? So if you take a look here, let me erase this so that we have room. Your sign chart is your x-axis, okay? And right here we have -1, +2, and +3, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can copy that. Can I copy that? Oh, perfect. Okay. So here, I'll line it up so that we can see. Based on this picture, everything prior to -1, notice how the graph is below the x-axis. So right here, we have a negative. Okay? Anywhere in between -1 and +2 is also below the x-axis, implying that these values are also negative. Okay? In between 2 and 3, same idea, it's still below the x-axis, so you know that that value has to come out negative. And everything past 3 is above the x-axis, implying that the signs come out positive. So what you want to do in your video is you want to verify this. Okay, so let me go ahead and copy that one more time. And let me bring it down here. Okay, so we're going to use the function that you will create, and you're going to use the sign chart to kind of verify that, all right? So here we go. We have 3 zeros, -1, +2, and +3. We put in some test values. So I'll choose -2, 0, 2.5, and 4. Remember, the test values can vary as long as the number is in the right section, okay? So here we have a total of 4 sections, okay? So I'll draw out the stencils. We have something squared, something squared, something to the third, something squared, something squared. And I don't have room here because it's tiny. Okay, and then we check our signs. When you plug -2 into each x here, that first factor is going to come out negative, that second factor is going to come out negative, and that last factor is going to come out negative as well. There's a total of 2, 2, and 3 negatives, so that is a total of 7 negatives, which is odd, right? Which implies that it should be negative, so we're good there. Okay, check mark. When I plug in 0 into x, I get positive. negative, negative. We don't care too much about positives. We're just counting the number of negatives here. We have a total of 2 and 3 negatives, so that's a total of 5 negatives, which is odd, which implies that the sign is negative or below the x-axis, okay? So here we plug in 2.5 in the third section. 2.5 will give us a positive, and a negative. Again, we only focus on the number of negatives. Here I have a total of 3 negatives, which is odd again, which implies that we have a negative value there. So far it's matching up. If I plug in 4 into x, I should get a positive, positive, positive. Notice how there are no negatives here, so I have an even number of negatives, even though it's 0. So that implies that it's positive. So no, I know that my answer is good. Okay, that's the last thing you guys have to do with your verification there, all right? So try to wrap everything up together. Take your time, record a few times if you need to. Have a bunch of peers look at it, revise it for you. But at the very end, when you submit that final video, make sure that that video demonstrates that you truly understand the material, okay?